Wisconsin, final one for 2023. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Wisconsin. Wisconsin voters do not have the right to place their own initiatives on the ballot, to pass and repeal state laws, and amend the Wisconsin Constitution on their own. These voters only have the power to ratify it into the Wisconsin Constitution, what the legislator puts before them through what is called a legislative referred constitutional amendment, aka the state legislator initiative. The following initiatives took place in a special election this year of 2023 on April 4th. Question 1, conditions of release before conviction amendment. A yes vote supported amending the state constitution to allow the state legislator to define what serious harm means in relation to the bail conditions that judges imposed on accused persons released before their criminal trial. This is for the purpose of protecting members of the community from serious harm. This was ratified by 66.55%. Interesting. Who supported this? All of the Republicans. So state senators, state representatives that were Republicans, and also the Waukesha County Assistant DA, Michael Thurston. There are also some candidates that supported this measure. One of the unions that supported it is the Wisconsin Chiefs of Police Association. Organizations, Americans for Prosperity, and Wisconsin State Lodge Fraternal Order of Police. Here's one of the arguments from State Senator Van Wangard. First, it allows a judge to consider serious harm to others instead of serious bodily harm when setting conditions of release. This is an important change because serious bodily harm is a statutorily defined term, essentially meaning harm that could cause death or serious permanent disfigurement. Interesting. Who opposed this? State Representative Sue Conley is a Democrat. Some of the organizations that were against it is the ACLU of Wisconsin and the Wisconsin NAACP. It goes on to say here, an argument from, we're going to do the one from the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters of Wisconsin said, increased pretrial detention and denial of bail will violate rights of those who are innocent until proven guilty, increase costs for local jails, including rural areas, increase racial disparity in the justice system, and adversely impact people with low income. Very interesting. There was no money spent to support or oppose this measure. Here's commentary here from Roger Meadows. As I've outlined and read, sometimes if you're confused about a measure, what you got to do is take a look at who supports it and who opposes it. Now, what does this not do? And what should be more focused on is the fact that this is a reform, but it's not a solution. The whole issue is law enforcement and rule of law advocates don't want dangerous people walking around the community before a trial date. I think you mean trial date there. While those who advocate for innocence until proven guilty say they've not been duly convicted, putting the accused in jail for prolonged periods of time without a trial, simply but not having the dough, is more of an economic injustice. Yeah, no one is coming up with ideas to enforce the Sixth Amendment, which talks about the right of speedy trial with no delay. Where's the amendment to fully finance the public defender's office, as well as to get more judges, hiring more staff to provide them with the resources necessary to move these cases along? Doing that ends this fight. Yeah, this is another thing I really want to mention just for a second about this speedy trial. You have a right to a speedy trial, but I've never heard anyone having a speedy trial. I mean, you could be tried. You could be, let's say you're arrested for whatever reason, but the trial date may not happen until 3 years later. So I never understood that. Why does it take so long to have these trials? And then another thing is, oftentimes, a lot of those cases don't even make it to trial because the accused will end up taking the plea deal. So now you take the plea deal and now you got a smidge on your record. but you don't have to sit up there and wait for a trial. It's just a mess. The criminal justice reform is a problem. Criminal justice system, sorry, not criminal justice reform, but there's issues there that need to be corrected. Question 2, conditions for cash bail amendment. A yes vote supported amending the state constitution to authorize judges to consider the totality of the circumstances when imposing and setting cash bail for persons accused of violent crimes. This includes circumstances related to a previous conviction of a violent crime, the probability the accused will not appear in court, the need to protect the community from serious harm as defined by the state legislator, the need to prevent witness intimidation, and the potential affirmative defenses of the accused. This measure here was ratified by 67.57%. Again, that was April 2023. Now, question 1 and question 2 are related. The Wisconsin legislator voted to refer 2 ballot measures to the April ballot that amend Section 8.2 of Article 1 of the state constitution. Question 1 removed the word bodily from serious bodily harm in the section that governs the conditions a judge imposes on an accused person released before conviction. The amendment also allowed the state legislator to define serious harm. Question 2 amended the same section of the state constitution to allow judges to consider a previous conviction of a violent crime, the probability the accused will not appear in court, the need to protect the community from serious harm as defined by the state legislator, the need to prevent witness intimidation, and the potential affirmative defenses of the accused when setting cash bail. So I hope everybody is seeing what is happening here. So, who supported this? Republicans, state senators and representatives, and of course, DA Michael Thurston. There are a couple of candidates that supported this as well. One candidate, actually, 2 of these candidates were nonpartisan that supported that. That's interesting. Unions, Wisconsin Chief of Police Organizations, Americans for Prosperity, and the Wisconsin State Lodge Fraternal Order of Police. Here's one of the arguments here from Scott Allen. There are too many crimes occurring by too many individuals awaiting trial with a lengthy criminal record. We need to take away this shield from these soft on crime judges that are harming our communities. Who opposed this? State Representative Sue Conley, who's Democrat. One of the organizations, again, repeat organizations, ACLU, Wisconsin, NAACP, to name a few. And one of the arguments here, again, I want to go with what the League of Women Voters says. Increased pretrial detention and denial of bail will, again, violate rights of those who are innocent until proven guilty, increase the cost for local jails, including rural areas, increase racial disparity in the justice system, and adversely impact people with low crime. When we get to campaign finance, there was no money spent to support or oppose it. One note here from Roger Meadows, same as before, present an amendment to enforce the 6th Amendment, the right to a speedy trial with no delay. That is something that we should be pushing for. We should be pushing for the speedy trial. And question 3. Work requirement for welfare benefits advisory question. A yes vote supported advising the state legislature to require able-bodied childless adults to look for work in order to receive taxpayer-funded welfare benefits. This was ratified, actually passed, by 79.57%. That's a big one. So what does this do? The question is not legally binding and did not enact a work requirement law for welfare benefits. At the time of the election, the state law required able-bodied individuals without dependents to look for work in order to receive unemployment insurance. There was also a work requirement for Wisconsin food stamp program, Wisconsin Food Share, but the requirement had been waived since October 2020 due to the pandemic. Who supported this? Republicans. senators and representative organization, Foundation for Government Accountability. Now, here's one of the arguments. This is from Sam Adolphson. The workforce crisis in the Badger State has been driven largely by rapidly expanding welfare programs like food stamps, Badger Care, and other cash benefits that for 3 years have been disconnected from work. Wisconsin has nearly 250,000 open jobs. Employers are desperate for workers, and voters will soon weigh in on whether they prefer able-bodied adults to be working for a paycheck or receiving a welfare check. Interesting. I think, again, this brings back the question of poverty. Like, again, why do we have poverty in this country? There's no reason for us to have poverty in the United States of America at all. But we can give money to Israel, though. Who opposed it? State Senate Melissa Agard. Organizations Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Here's one of the arguments here. Their resolution simply put attacks low-income people in the state of Wisconsin, and it's born out of consideration to their base for the spring election. They're trying to gin up their voters, simply put. There was over $480,000 spent of campaign finance contributions to support this measure and $0 spent to oppose it. Interesting, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for 2023 ballot measure initiatives. We are done with that. Thursday, we begin 2024. So get ready for it. I'm doing something a little bit different this time. I'm still going to present the full, measures to you on this show, but then I'm also going to do a short, I guess you could say like a YouTube short video or TikTok style video, and I'm not putting it on TikTok. I suck at TikTok, but a YouTube short style video where I just go through a list of what is going to be offered for that state. And then boom, just toss it out there like that. Pow, just like, just a shorter version of it. So if you want something, you can just click on and say, okay, what are those measures for California again? You'll have that short video just to click on.